Hello everybody and welcome back to Against the Fence. Now this is the fan cam segment. We're back with a fan cam and this time we're joined by a new person in the ranks. We've got Dustin all the way across the pond from Canada. Now let's
Hey Dustin, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
How are you guys?
Yeah, good man. I mean, let's just dive straight into this, shall we? Now this fight card had a lot to kind of live up to, especially with the last one having a lot of audience returning. How do you think this card fared to the last card? It kind of started off at a good pace, kind of dipped it a little bit. You know, we had some decisions, but then what an end, man! I mean, what do you make of it?
Like, prelims were the fights to watch on this card. The prelims were absolute fire. First couple fights on the main card were kind of sleepers, you know. I mean, the Caitlyn fight was a bit of her output was great, but and then, you know, Tony.
What about Barbosa though? Barbosa and Burgos was pretty good start.
Man, those leg kicks, the leg throughout that, like, and then he's concussed. Like, that's a concussion for sure. That delayed reaction, you know. I mean,
the guy's so defiant though, isn't he?
Yeah, we kind of, it was really weird at first because there was a bit of a delayed reaction, and originally I thought perhaps Burgos's leg gave way.
Yeah.
But then when you look it back, and he's actually was generally rocked from that right hand.
Just delayed reaction.
I honestly think that he took a real late concussion in that, and it just, the dizzy spell hit him, and he just down he went. I mean, he didn't even know he was out when he was falling.
No.
Super late stoppage though. Like, he ate 2 extra shots that he didn't have to eat there. Like,
No, absolutely.
I think the whole entire arena was like, "What just happened there? What's going on? What's, you know what I mean?"
Yeah,
but
I think everyone
the leg kicks were just killed him.
Yeah,
he lost all of his power after the first round from those kicks.
Yeah,
and you could see that he just didn't have the power to stop Barbosa.
No.
And, you know, that boxing style is not going to work against these guys when they start throwing leg.
Yeah, we said going into the fight that Burgos needed to really kind of push the pressure on Barbosa and almost suffocate him. But as soon as those leg kicks start landing, it's almost, you know, a really hard task to do.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, clinch fighting would have been the way to go. He was trying to set up a lot of those 1-2 combinations from that boxing stance, and it's just not going to be effective when you're getting your legs picked apart. You lose all your power before up.
True that, yeah. But what do you think Burgos needs to work on to come back from this?
Honestly, he's going to have to start working. It's the same thing with that McGregor fight with Poirier. He's going to have to work on defending and checking those leg kicks, and just start piecing together better combinations.
Yeah,
more than 1-2, right? Jab, hook, jab, hook. You're going to get that timing, which is what Barbosa did.
Yeah.
And then he's going to start countering those jabs, and you're going to end up eating one, you know, on the jaw or behind the ear, and down you go. So he's going to have to work on his checking to those leg kicks, because now that people know he's going to eat them all day, they're going to be down that leg.
There you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and spot on.
Yeah.
But for Barbosa now, he's now 2-1 at featherweight, and he's looking pretty good at this weight class. I mean, you know, he took out arguably a tough, gritty opponent in Shane Burgos. But what would you like to see next from Edson Barbosa?
I'd like to see him take a top 5 guy. I would. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's got a good record. I'd like to see him take a top 5 and put himself into a title contention.
Yeah.
But you know, he's historically had trouble against higher ranked contenders. So
what's the news recently?
Factor, right?
That's true. Yeah. I was just gonna say, what's the news recently? He's just signed another contract with the UFC. So I mean, we can expect some exciting things from him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you see his close fight he had with Dan Ige, you know, and
run that back
potentially, that would be fun, but maybe not just yet. I think, you know, he obviously took a step down from that fight. He's looking now better than ever, and is a guy that's been around for quite some time. But yeah, like you said, I think there's a lot of great fights there for him. If you had to name one, what would it be?
Oh my God, who's top 3 in that division right now?
My mind is blown away as you are. To be honest, trying to think. I mean, you got Brian Ortega, Chin Sun Jung in there. You've got Calvin Kattar.
You know what? Holloway's in that weight class too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Holloway and yeah.
We ain't seen Holloway in a while, have we?
Since
They're not
January.
going to give Holloway. They're not going to give Holloway a rematch for the belt yet.
No.
And Holloway's game as fuck as well. He's gonna
Stylistically, that's a good matchup. Actually, I'd like to see that. A little bit low on the rankings for Holloway to take, but that'd be fun.
Yeah, no, spot on there. No, I think it's a fun fight. Yeah, you pulled that one straight out of the bag. I would say let's move on then to our second fight of the night, where we had Caitlin Jakajian taking the decision win against a very tough Vivian Aljo.
Check out the fight zone.
What did you make of that fight then? Because we thought it was kind of going really close going into the third round there.
Power versus finesse. Caitlin wins by output alone. It's all output. She's a point fighter. She wins by points. She's not doing crazy damage.
No.
And that's why she's never going to be the champ in that division.
Yeah.
She doesn't. You're going to go up against someone like Valentina, who's also a volume striker, but who's going to make you bleed at the same time.
Yeah.
Caitlin's not going to do that. So she's never going to take that belt, because perception against someone like Valentina is they're going to have the same output. Valentina's going to look like she's doing more damage.
Yeah.
And she'll squeak out those wins and decisions over and over and over.
This is so well put. It's so well put. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to start, nailing more of those head kicks and getting some finishes. Nobody's buying a pay-per-view to watch a decision squeaked out on light punches and jabs.
We're not jumping at the bit to see a rematch there. That's for sure. But I mean, it's a bit of a tough one. I mean, what would you do with Caitlin Jakajian now then? Clearly wants to try and keep going. She's up there. She's a bit of a gatekeeper. You beat her, you get the title shot. But who do you see her going against?
I'd like to see her rematch. Andrade would be nice.
Yeah, get first position. But Andrade might go down a division to now challenge Rose.
Yeah, we did wonder whether that would be an option for her.
Well, I mean, nobody's beaten Nunez, so they're going to have to start moving weight classes.
Yeah. That is so true.
But it is. They're going to have to. I wouldn't mind seeing JJ move up.
Okay, yeah.
Like Caitlin, I'd like to see that. And that puts JJ in a good position, because she had a great showing against Valentina. I mean, she definitely she struggles with the 115, right?
She's never a boring fighter either.
So
it's always exciting.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
All right, but there's just that's not a deep division. It's not.
No.
So I mean, the fact that Caitlin is number 2 shows, and I like Caitlin, but she's just not top tier.
Tells a lot about the whole division, doesn't it?
Front kick, jab, jab, front kick, jab, jab.
Yeah.
Her hand throw is low. She's going to get rocked by anybody with real finesse power. She was just lucky that the girl she was fighting tonight was ranked 7th and gassed.
Yeah.
She gassed.
Yeah.
That
was the biggest downfall. Round 3.
In that second round, she just lost all of her power.
Yeah.
The third round was just
nailed in the coffin.
Exactly. So
you sort of strike difference there as well, didn't you?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of a difference.
Who come next?
Yeah, output definitely was the factor in that fight. For Vivian Araujo though, it's hard to say what's next to her off the top of the bat. I think, who did we say in the watch along? Did we say we'd like her to
we did say Tatiana Suarez coming into the division for Caitlin, perhaps.
For Caitlin, that's a good shout.
Yeah,
I mean, Suarez would be a really good fight, but I think Suarez takes that fight.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not super impressed by front kick jab. And the big thing is she was touting that she'd been working on her wrestling and working on her wrestling and working on her wrestling. she almost got tapped.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, I just don't think that if that's number 2 in the division, that's not not a deep division.
Doesn't speak volumes for the division, does it?
And
I'm excited to get into the next fight. In fact, fight 3.
yeah, I mean, yeah, for Valentina, there's definitely space to move up and do things, you know, and to let the division catch up. But yeah, let's move swiftly on then to our third fight of the night. We got Matt Schnell. That's the wrong people. But Matt Schnell taking on Rogerio.
Bronin.
Why are we forgetting his name? We've been nailing it all night.
Robnin?
Bontorin.
Bontorin, that's the geezer.
Bontorin. I knew it was there somewhere.
It's early morning.
Early morning. Yeah, Bontorin obviously taking that win there. What did you make of that fight then? It was kind of a bit of a... It turned out it was a bit of a shock in the end. We thought it was potentially going to be... It was 1-1 going into the third round. We were completely wrong in this end, and it was actually 30-27 to Bontorin.
I don't agree with 30-27. I don't. 29-28.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
they were 10 strikes off of each other, or 20 strikes off of each other, and I mean, you know, one takedown. There was one takedown, and there were 10 significant strike differences.
Yeah, unbelievable. I didn't like that at all.
Draw. I would have taken a draw. Okay. I would have taken a win on either side.
Not unanimous.
I'd run that back if I were them, because it wasn't definitive as far as moving anybody in the rankings.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
They didn't really show us a strike difference either, did they? I was keen to see that stat because Schnell never threw anything in ones. He threw things in 3s and 4s and 5s, and it would have been substantial.
And it was 65 significant strikes for Schnell and 72 for Bontorin.
Really?
That's what they landed. So it was 65 135 and 72 124. So you're talking 10 strikes difference here. The percentages were 48% landed for Schnell and 58% landed for Bontorin, and Bontorin had 1 takedown.
Did that look accurate to you? Does that marry up to what you saw? Or do you think that's a little mismatched to some of the stats? Because I don't know if it's counting.
I mean, Schnell whiffed on a lot of them, right? Like, a lot of them were feints, and so
okay, that's true.
You know, he had that little pop and jab and stuff, but you know, I don't think either one of them were super impressive. But I'd run it back. I don't think 30-27 is an accurate judging, but you know.
Yeah, and Bontorin, you know, he gets himself out of a bit of a rut here, having been coming off of 2 straight losses, and fighting, you know, a very tough Matt Schnell, who's had some impressive wins in the UFC so far. It'd be kind of hard to tell who was kind of next for these guys. They were fighting at bantamweight. Both guys originally were fighting at flyweight. But plus you had Bontorin, who clearly missed weight, so you'd kind of expect him to fight at bantamweight again. Is there anyone at the moment in your mind that you'd like to see Bontorin fight next? Or
honestly, I want to see them run this one back.
Run it back. Okay, that's fair.
Neither one of, like, you've got a guy that's 15-6 and a guy that's 17-3. They're right next to each other in the rankings. Neither one of them were super impressive or dominant in victory. Yeah, the judges gave it 30-27, but who are they going to move up to fight that's not going to just pick them apart at bantamweight?
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So that fight didn't impress you too much. But how do you think of the next fight that came up then? So, of course, Tony Ferguson against Dariush.
Yes.
Did that impress you? Did that do it?
Tony's an animal.
Yes, he is.
That ankle pick should have ended that fight.
Yeah.
It should have ended that fight.
How it didn't, I don't know.
But this is the end of Tony Ferguson. And I don't think anybody. He's done everything. He's switched coaches. He's built his camp. He's been a new Tony Ferguson the last 3 fights. We're going to see a new version of El Kukui. We're going to see better takedowns. He came in as he was going to do this and slam this and, you know, champ shit only. And it's like, he's just time. He's not as quick. He's not as quick as he used to be. Everybody's figured out all of these weird head movements. They've learned to avoid the elbows.
Yep.
And, now Dariush, phenomenal. The game plan to fight Tony was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he going to win the belt? No. No. Who's he got to get through? Like, who does he have to get through to get there, right? You've got Poirier, McGregor, Gaethje. Now Oliveira and Chandler's still in the mix, and he's going to want to bounce back.
Yeah.
And now you've got McGregor and Poirier lined up.
Yeah.
So really, his next fight should be Gaethje.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should be.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you'd
That's
expect
a great
so.
fight for Gaethje.
Gaethje's looking to fight soon.
And I think Gaethje tunes him quite handily within 2 rounds.
Yeah, you reckon? I get 2 rounds. Yeah, no, I think the grit of Gaethje is definitely something. It's a big factor to kind of take in, especially against an opponent like Dariush, who did effectively pressure Tony, and that seemed to be the blueprint now to kind of get in with Tony. I kind of felt that Tony. I mean, I know he's had, we're used to seeing this kind of wild style of Tony, but in this fight, it kind of seemed like it was almost too much. He needed to dial down a little bit, especially on the feet, and it kind of played into Dariush's his hands really.
I think that's because everybody knows what's coming with Tony now.
Yeah,
he's built this whole MO of I'm going to be wild and I'm going to roll and I'm going to flip all over the place and I'm going to smother you, and they've handled, like, Gaethje set the blueprint, Olivier set the blueprint, Dariush set the he's not doing anything different. He has different coaches and a few different techniques. He's not reining it in. His career's going the way of Cerrone, where he's going to be that guy that everybody wants to get by. Now entering gatekeeper status, he's not going to be a top contender in this division.
Yeah,
I
think you're right.
He's old and slow.
Fighters are different. Not just the skill and ability within the octagon, but also outside of the octagon, sort of how famous they are. He was definitely the more popular fighter in the octagon tonight. Everyone wanted him to be taking a win. They're all behind it. They all believe. Everyone still believes in Fergie, but unfortunately, I think you're right. I mean, I think his time's come. I mean, he had a really great run, and so what happens is wash up a fighter. What happens after fighters have a good run? They have this sort of low, and it's all gone off or going downhill from here on now. But Dariush is not particularly a popular fighter to sort of put on the fights and bring in the money and put the bumps on the seats that the UFC wants to see either. So
no, and that's the thing. That's why you put him up against somebody like Gaethje, and if he wins against Gaethje, now all of a sudden he's beat Tony, he's beat Justin, he's a legitimate title contender. At that point, maybe he starts selling, but he's not real great on the mic either. Like, I don't know what the Elon Musk call out was for.
That was bizarre and a bit shocking.
Give me my car.
He doesn't have a great mic presence, right? No. So he's never gonna be the big pay-per-view draw. He's gonna be the guy that hangs around top 5 for a little while, and he's gonna disappear too. Just because they're not gonna give him those big fights.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, it would be interesting to see what's next for Tony Ferguson. I don't see he would retire just yet.
I want him to go out on a bang, but
I mean, I think there's going to be someone in the bottom sort of half looking to fight him next.
Yeah.
Or has he fought Hooker before?
He might just rest as a gatekeeper for top 10.
Yeah.
And sort of be there for a while before retiring.
What I'd like to see is if McGregor loses to Poirier, I'd like to see McGregor Ferguson.
Ooh, yeah.
Really?
No, that's a top one.
Question would be, does Ferguson deserve it? He's coming off too many losses to go against someone who's just lost.
So is Connor.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
So's Connor. But I mean, and then you've also got the question in there of Conor McGregor, what happens to him after the Dustin loss? Is he still really got that fire that he says he has? And if
he loses to Dustin, he's going to push for the Diaz trilogy.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it.
And ride off into the sunset.
Right, with his $300 million in his yacht.
Money. Go and do the accent.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Money.
There we go.
Don't talk dumb with me. Yeah,
And you can't blame the guy, right? But I think Tony versus the loser of Poirier McGregor is a great matchup. I'd like to see him fight either one.
That
of
would be a good fight. I mean, Tony puts bums on seats. He's a great fighter,
and Tony deserves a payday. So
yeah,
You know,
he's a people's champion. He is, isn't he? He's just it's just too heartbreaking to see him in the octagon. He's not getting the W he needs.
Right? Like he's just and he's always injured. The guy's always hurt.
Yeah.
No, it's like a Tony Ferguson fight. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
Yeah.
Between him and Khabib, they've got like 20 canceled fights.
Yeah,
So
true. Yeah,
you know.
arguably the fans were robbed of that one. But then let's move on to our main event which completely blew us all away here. We had obviously Charles Oliveira taking the second round TKO victory and claiming the vacant lightweight title. Now, what did you make of this fight? Because there was some, ups and downs. We had Charles Oliveira taking the back of Chandler, then Chandler getting up and putting Oliveira in some bad position. What did you make?
Chandler should have capitalized when he had the win. He had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what he should have done is stand Oliveira up. He should instead of hitting him with those FU kicks and just messing around, stand him back up and clock him 2 or 3 more times while he's still stunned. You give him that break in the corner, the guy's going to come back out and he's going to try to finish it.
That was the movement for Chandler too. He had the break in the corner. He came out. He tried finishing it. He wanted to put Oliveira back exactly where he was at the end of the first round, and that was his demise.
Right? He lost that momentum. He should have finished it. Weird take dropping onto his back like that. I mean, he was lucky that he didn't get cinched up real quick that way. Joe Rogan said it best in the commentary that the hand fighting was really impressive.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
To stop that submission. But I've said it before. I like Chandler, but he's chinny, and he's chinny.
Yeah.
This is the second time a featherweight has knocked this guy out.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it's a thing where he's just cursed, but this is the second time he got knocked out. He got knocked out in 2019 by a featherweight, and he just got knocked out by Charles, and he used to be a featherweight too.
Yeah.
The guy's just real chinny, and those leg kicks dropped him. Like, he was so planted.
Yeah.
That just I think they jumped him into a title fight real quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said it.
Who do you think should have been the matchup for this fight if you thought this was too soon? I mean,
Gaethje would have been the obvious one, right?
It should have been Gaethje
Oliveira.
Realistically, it should have been Gaethje Poirier is who it should have been.
Yeah.
But on the understanding, Poirier want the money fight.
Yeah.
So he wanted the money fight with McGregor, so that's fine. So that takes 1 and 4 out. So that leaves, Gaethje should have fought Oliveira, Chandler should have fought Tony, and that would have rounded out that little tournament.
A couple more fights before going for the belt.
Yeah, Conor McGregor and his money just ruining the rankings.
Yeah.
The system.
I mean, it is what it is, right? I don't think anybody's...
It's a good fight still.
It's a great fight. I mean, and it's going to be great to see Poirier beat McGregor again, because we'll see an all new and improved, motivated McGregor, and he'll lose again because Dustin is built for that weight class, and he shows it every time.
Yeah. Much to the narrative of Tony Dariush, I think it was probably played the same way.
Very similar. But I think the fight to make is Gaethje Oliveira with Poirier McGregor done up. I don't think Charles took a whole lot of damage with this fight that he won't, he's not going to be out for 6-7 months. And Dana's going to want that belt moved again, right? Like, lightweight's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
He needs the belt moving. And there's nobody that's going to draw Khabib out of retirement. So, you're going to want, because all of those guys, your top 5 lightweight sell pay-per-views.
Yeah.
They sell pay-per-views, So they're going to want to push that belt real quick,
Yeah.
especially with Khabib being the type that was only fighting once a year, sometimes twice a year. Yeah.
Move it sooner than that.
Yeah.
They're going to push for that. So.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting to see which direction they go and how quick they can get Charles Oliveira to get step back in there, especially after this impressive win. Yeah. Especially being a guy who's been in the UFC for such a long time, he has that kind of rocky story where he's been in 2 weight classes now and been beaten and broken by a lot of the top guys, and has now found his new rhythm. And this is a new Charles Oliveira that we're now seeing. It's quite impressive stuff and to see. Yeah,
certainly. And I mean,
he's lightweight Glover Teixeira, right? Like, he's a guy that really shouldn't be where he's at, but just late stage going on a tear, and he could. If he fights like he fought tonight, he could hold on to that for a while.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Especially when you take in that's the three top wins that he's managed to accumulate, and I wouldn't say dominating performances, but he's looked so good in both areas.
He has. He really has.
Both on the ground and on the stand-up.
Definitely polished his stand-up a lot more. He certainly has. And
he did. And he recovers well. He's calm under pressure. Like, a lot of guys would have been done with the Chandler onslaught. But I really think that was Chandler's mistake.
Yeah.
He's not the champ right now because he let up. He decided to chase a guy who's real good on the ground.
Underestimated.
I mean, he should have just started standing back up and hit him again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, no, good points there. Was I the only one who thought Oliveira would do it? You was on Chandler, yeah?
Yeah.
I had Chandler, but we had spoke on Friday, and I said if Chandler loses, it's going to be because he's chinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was.
I think my head was going Oliveira, but my heart was going Chandler, and it was almost kind of, you could almost see it. It was just lined up perfectly for the UFC with this. We spoke about it yesterday. Just this kind of aura that Chandler kind of brings in. Second fight in the UFC, title shot, former Bellator champion, and speaks well on the mic. And, it was almost going to be that kind of perfect moment for that type of person to get the belt.
And that's how they played it up. I mean, if you look at all the pre-fight stuff, it was all about Chandler.
Yeah.
It was, Chandler, I'm coming from here, and they called me and I took the fight, and I stepped up and I took the fight that was offered. Yeah, but for the first 6 months you were signed to the UFC, you turned down 4 or 5 different fights waiting for the big one. And then you took a 6th ranked Dan Hooker. And, that's beating Dan Hooker. I mean, Dan Hooker's a great fighter, but
we knew which way that was going to go.
Beating Dan Hooker does not give you #1 contender status.
It doesn't. He's not a gatekeeper
but I mean, credit where credit's due. He was sort of in for a replacement for the McGregor-Poirier fight, just in case anything, happened. He made the way.
He was, but I mean, that's a big if. Like, and do you really look at Chandler and think he's problematic for Poirier?
I think stylistically, it'll be a good matchup.
The takedowns.
It'd be a good matchup, but size-wise, Poirier is massive compared to Chandler. Poirier's this wide. Like, it's just there's a huge size difference there. Dustin's huge, big for the division, and Chandler's not huge for the division. I mean, Olivier's a featherweight and looked just as big and had power to match him. Like,
in the lightweight division, yeah,
absolutely. Now, some interesting points there, Dustin. And we're gonna head off now and get some sleep, as it's very early hours in the morning over here, and it's evening where you are right now.
What time is it you're over there, Dustin?
2:30 in the morning.
2:30.
Oh, okay. So, you're 4 hours behind us, and you two need to get your sleep as well. But,
all right, Bill. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure,
Absolute pleasure, man. And we'll hope to do it again sometime for the next pay-per-view.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah, speak later, Dustin. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.